He was a man known for his charm, his smooth words, and the way he could melt any woman's heart with just a smile. But behind the glittering nights and endless parties, there was a secret. A secret that made him dangerous, or so he thought. This is the story of how a playboy, living a life of luxury through rich women, met a moment that changed everything. His name was Sam. In his early 30s, tall, handsome, and dressed in the finest clothes, Sam had learned one thing well: how to live off the fortunes of wealthy women. They called him a charmer, a lover, even a magician, but mostly, he was a playboy with no strings attached. He knew how to make a woman feel special, how to listen just right, and when to show just enough interest. Sam's adventures were many. He moved from one luxurious apartment to another, from one expensive car to the next. His pockets were never empty because he had countless sugar mummies, rich women who adored his attention and showered him with gifts. One woman, Mrs. Ada, was his favorite. She was older, rich beyond imagination, and dazzled by Sam's youth and charm. For her, Sam was the bright star that lit her lonely nights. She gave him a duplex in the city's most elite neighborhood and a black Mercedes-Benz that made heads turn whenever he drove. Sam thought he was untouchable. The parties, the money, the women, it all felt like a dream. But dreams sometimes hide dark realities. One evening, tired from celebrations, Sam walked past a big church where a crowd had gathered. Curiosity pulled him inside. Inside, the pastor was preaching like fire burning in his eyes, words that cut deeply into the heart of every sinner in the room. Sam sat quietly in the last row, listening to the message on sin, truth, and a new life in Christ. The pastor said, "No matter how far you've gone, no matter what gifts you've taken, there is a way to come back, if you surrender your heart to God." Those words stirred something inside Sam. For the first time, the glamorous life looked empty. The gifts felt like chains. The next day, Sam went to Mrs. Ada's mansion. Holding back his usual charm, he told her, "I want to return the duplex and the car. I've decided to change my life." She laughed bitterly, proud and stubborn. "You think you can just walk away? I will give you 50 million if you come back, Sam." Sam shook his head, his eyes steady. "No, I'm giving my life to Christ. The money means nothing to me now." Mrs. Ada's smile disappeared. For the first time, Sam saw fear flicker in her eyes, a fear of losing power over him. Sam left the mansion with a calm heart. But the streets whispered about the man who turned down millions, about the playboy who chose God over gold. His life changed dramatically. The parties stopped. The fast cars sat idle. Instead, Sam found peace in prayer, truth in the Bible, and real love he had never known before. He helped others trapped in lives like his past, warning them about the price of deception. But deep inside, Sam knew this was just the beginning. The battle between his old life and new faith had only started. And each day was a choice, to stay in the darkness or walk fully into the light. Sam's footsteps echoed on the paved street as the cool night air settled around him. The city lights flickered softly, but inside him, a storm was brewing, a feeling he could not shake. His life had been a whirlwind of pleasure and riches, but tonight, something gnawed at his heart. He was no stranger to luxury. Ever since he could remember, Sam had used his charm to win the affection of rich women, trading his time and company for gifts, money, and a lifestyle many envied. It wasn't just about the money, it was the power, the excitement, the way women's attention made him feel alive. Mrs. Ada was the queen of his world. Tall and elegant, her sharp eyes missed nothing. She had taken him under her wing, showering him with gifts beyond imagination. The duplex, a sprawling home with marble floors and giant windows, gave him a fortress of indulgence. The sleek black Mercedes-Benz was his chariot, turning every street into a runway. At parties, Sam held court. Women whispered his name, men envied his ease. Yet beneath the velvet suits and eye-catching smiles, something was missing. Sam's days became a battle. Old friends called, the allure of wealth tempted, but his faith grew stronger. The gifts he once treasured were now chains he broke free from. He found joy in small things, in helping others who had lost their way. The playboy was gone, or so he hoped. Every day was a test, every moment a choice between darkness and light. But deep inside, Sam smiled. He had found a new treasure, one that no woman, no car, no pile of money could ever buy: peace with God. Weeks passed since Sam's sudden decision to leave behind the glitter and gold. But the city never forgets, and neither do the people who once held you close. Just when Sam thought he could breathe free, shadows started closing in. One rainy night, as Sam walked home from the small church group meeting, he noticed a black car following him. His heart pounded. At first, he tried to ignore it, but the headlights stayed close, matching his every turn. He ducked into a dim alley, hoping to lose the tail. But out of the silence, a figure stepped forward. It was Mrs. Ada's driver. "You can't just walk away, Sam," the man whispered. "She's not happy about this. She wants you back." Sam's mind raced. He thought of the 50 million she had promised, the power she wielded, the danger beneath her polished smile. He understood now that this wasn't just about money. It was about control. The next morning, a mysterious envelope slid under his door. Inside was a photo of his duplex, the car, and a handwritten note: "Return, or lose everything you believe in." Fear gnawed at him. Who else knew? Could the glamorous life he abandoned come back as a nightmare? At church the following Sunday, Pastor Daniel noticed the worry in Sam's eyes. After service, the pastor approached with quiet strength. "Sam, this battle is real, but God is stronger. Stand firm. Trust in Him even when shadows threaten." That night, as Sam prayed, a knock came at his door. It was a young woman, trembling, clutching a letter. "My name is Grace," she said softly. "Mrs. Ada sent me. She wants you to reconsider. But I want to help you escape this, before it gets worse." Sam's pulse jumped. Was this a trap or a genuine ally? Days turned into sleepless nights. Calls with silent breath, unexpected visitors, whispered threats wrapped in honeyed words. Every gift he once took felt like a loaded gun aimed at his new faith. Then, one evening, Sam received a phone call. Mrs. Ada's voice was icy but polite. "Sam, you think you're free. Just wait. I have ways of reminding you what you lost." Sam's hands trembled, but his voice was steady. "I'm sorry, Ada. I'm not the man I was. You can keep your money. I belong to something greater now." The line went dead. The following week, Sam noticed a black Mercedes parked outside the church. A car just like the one he returned. Inside, a man he hadn't met before waited. "Mrs. Ada sent me," the stranger said with a cold smile. "She wants to talk." Sam's heart pounded in suspense. Was this a final test? Or the last link to his old life? He looked toward the church altar, then back at the man. "This ends here," Sam said firmly. "Not with your money or threats, but with faith." The man's smile faded. He vanished into the night. From that day on, Sam's life steadied. The threats lessened, but the lessons stayed. He learned that true freedom meant more than walking away from the past. It meant standing strong when it tried to pull you back. And Sam knew deep down he had chosen the path few dare to walk, the path of light shining through shadows. Sam woke before dawn, the weight of the previous night's fears pressing on his chest like a heavy stone. The house was silent except for the faint buzz of the city slowly waking outside his window. Yet inside him, a storm raged, a battle more fierce than any fight he'd ever known on the outside. He reached for the Bible on his bedside table but hesitated. His fingers trembled, his heart torn between old desires and this new, strange peace he was trying to grasp. Memories flooded him, sharp and relentless. The laughter of Mrs. Ada, the glow of expensive dinners, the thrill of the car's engine as he sped through empty streets. They whispered to him like shadows, tempting him to return, to reclaim the life he left behind. But alongside them was a deeper voice, softer yet stronger, the pastor's words, the prayers, the warmth he found in fellowship. It called to a part of him starving for meaning, for truth. Each day was a battlefield. When loneliness crept in, the nights without parties or glamorous company, Sam felt the old cravings clawing at his soul. The temptation to call Mrs. Ada, to take her money and forget this hard road, was a whisper he fought to silence. One afternoon, alone in his small apartment, Sam stared into his reflection. He hardly recognized the man looking back, the confident playboy replaced by someone raw, vulnerable, uncertain. Who am I without the cars? Without the women? He asked the glass, the doubt heavy in his voice. Tears came unbidden. For the first time, Sam admitted to himself that leaving was only the start. The hardest part was becoming the man he wanted to be, honest, faithful, free. He realized faith wasn't an instant fix but a journey filled with fear and hope intertwined. With every prayer, he wrestled with guilt. From his past, the lies told, the hearts broken. Could he ever truly be forgiven? Could he ever forgive himself? At church, Pastor Daniel's sermons became lifelines, but even the kindest words couldn't quiet the storm inside. One evening after service, the pastor put a hand on Sam's shoulder. Sam, grace is bigger than our mistakes. It is strength when we are weak. Keep pressing forward. It was a balm, yet the weight returned when Sam left the church. Doubts whispered, "Are you really free? Or just hiding?" But slowly, through tears and struggle, Sam clung to the truth that real strength was in surrender, not control. His prayers became honest conversations, his faith a fragile but growing flame. And though the past still hovered, Sam felt a quiet hope, that one day, the man in the mirror would smile again, not the playboy, but the man who chose light over darkness. The nights were the hardest. One evening, just as the city lights glittered like stars fallen to earth, Sam sat alone in his modest apartment. The silence around him was thick, almost suffocating. He clutched his Bible, trying to find comfort in the words, but the memories came rushing back like a flood. His phone buzzed suddenly. The name on the screen made his heart skip. Ada. His hands trembled as he stared at it. Could he really resist? Before answering, he prayed silently for strength. Then, with a deep breath, he swiped to decline. Minutes later, a knock came at the door. His heart raced. Opening it, he found one of Mrs. Ada's friends, a woman with a knowing smile and eyes that pierced into his soul. "Sam, it's been too long. You don't have to do this alone," she whispered, stepping inside with the confidence of someone used to getting what she wants. She poured wine and spoke of the past, the parties, the laughter, the easy money. "You don't have to lose everything," she said softly, brushing a finger across his sleeve. For a moment, Sam was swallowed in temptation. The warmth of the wine, the echo of forgotten pleasures, the seductive promise of just one night back. But his fingers tightened around the cross necklace under his shirt, a gift from Pastor Daniel. "I'm not that man anymore," Sam said firmly, voice shaking but resolute. The woman's smile faded, replaced by a flash of anger. "You'll come back. They always do." Days later, temptation came in a different form. At the market, Sam ran into a former lover, beautiful, successful, and dripping with power. She laughed, touching his arm. "You think you're better than us now? I can make it worth your while. Everything you gave up, and more." Her words were poison dressed in silk. Sam looked away, his heart pounding. "I'm free, truly free," he whispered. But that night, sleep fled. Torn between the old life's lure and the fragile new path, Sam wrestled with shadows in his mind. He prayed until dawn, begging for courage. Each temptation was a test, each choice a step toward who he hoped to become. Sam's heart was a battlefield. Each temptation tested his resolve, but clutching his cross necklace and praying through the night, he held firm. He faced reminders of his old life, people promising wealth and power, the lure of comfort and status, but he refused to be pulled back into the darkness. Through all this, Sam learned that true freedom was not simply walking away but standing strong amid the fight. The road was long and lonely, but with every trial, his faith deepened, teaching him that peace and purpose lay beyond the glittering illusions of his past. This was the story of a man who dared to choose light over darkness, knowing that each step forward was a victory over the shadows he once called home.